Hey Disney friends, it's Amber with Mickey Travels. So we spend a lot of time on this channel talking about different things that you can do while on property, including videos on specific parks, water parks, Disney Springs, etc. I wanted to devote a video entirely to that non-park day that you designate within your trip. Not everyone does a non-park day, but a lot of people do take breaks. So I wanted to create a list of things for you to consider on doing that don't require you to go into the parks at all. All this will be on Disney property, and it will not include the water parks because I've got a separate video on that. It doesn't include Disney Springs. There's just so much going on there with restaurants, shows, shops, etc. That's a given for something to do in your free time. And then this will not include your own home resort and swimming at your resort in the arcade, etc. So I've got a few things to consider, some I've never mentioned before on this channel, so hopefully this will give you some ideas on what to do on your non-park day. Stay tuned.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
It's very easy to get around Disney property via the transportation they provide. So there are buses, monorail, and ferries that can take you resort to park, etc. It does get a little tricky when you're wanting to do things that aren't necessarily in the parks. You're gonna have to consider strategies as far as what transportation to take to get there. So before I go into my list and start making these suggestions, what I have noticed is that it is much easier to Uber, Lyft, whatever you prefer, to those locations. Resort hopping is a really big, fun thing to do, specifically if you're going during like the holidays to go see the different decor, but in general, just to take a look at what each resort has to offer. So there are 20 resorts on Disney property, so it could take a while to see all of them. But what I've decided is I've picked the top 3 that have more than just the resort to look forward to. Number 1, I have Fort Wilderness Campground. So Fort Wilderness is not only just a full campground, but they also have stables, so you can go in and see the horses. The Hoop-de-Doo Review is there. They are on water, so there is a sandy beach and volleyball, etc. They have the campfire sing-along that you can go to at night that is free of charge if you just want to buy the marshmallows and the chocolate, and Chip 'n Dale is there. So it's a more outdoorsy type place. So if you are staying at Pop Century and you just want to go spend the day over at Fort Wilderness, you can do that. Another one I would consider is the Boardwalk Inn. So Boardwalk not only has the resort, but they have a boardwalk with shops and restaurants that you can walk around in. This one I would recommend visiting in the evening. The lights and sights that are around also at the Beach Club and the Yacht Club, and then Epcot with fireworks, is really nice to see from the boardwalk itself. They have a really good ice cream shop and bakery there. And then if you're into nightlife, Boardwalk does have a dance club that is pretty cool. And lastly, Animal Kingdom Lodge. So if you've been on this channel for a while, you've seen that I've actually did a video where we did resort hop to Animal Kingdom Lodge. And you're able to see the animals even without staying there. We ate at the quick service and we just roamed around the property for a few hours. It was pretty fun. They do have scavenger hunts and whatnot that if you have smaller kids, you can participate in as you walk around the property. But the animals are visible, not just from rooms. You can see them at various points on the property. So if you're just not into that, you want to actually do something that is a little more meaningful than just go check out another hotel, which we try to resort hop every year. We try to go to a different one just to kind of look around because we want to go to Disney. We want to stay somewhere new every time. So we try to get an idea of where we'd want to stay next. But some people aren't like that. A hotel's a hotel to them. They all have pools, etc. So maybe that doesn't fit your needs. Here are some other ones to consider. Let's go over things you can do by making an appointment. So I've categorized a few things here. Disney has quite a few spas on property. So if you're wanting to get a massage, a couples massage, or a facial, or maybe even get your hair done, there are some options. To get a massage, the following resorts have that capability: Dolphin, the Grand Floridian, Saratoga Springs, Yacht Club, and Coronado Springs. So they all can take reservations in advance for getting a massage. Prices vary depending. Senses is probably the most popular, which is at the Grand Floridian. And you can get those prices on the Disney World website. I did talk about getting a hair or a makeover. Now, the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, located in Magic Kingdom, is probably the most famous location. But there are 2 other Bibbidi Bobbidi boutiques are not in a park. And that would be the Disney Springs location, But then there is now one at the Grand Floridian. So if you're wanting to do a whole Grand Floridian day, there are tons of options. You could do a dinner, you can get your prince or princess a makeover, and then the couple massage as well, and just spend the whole day there. So if you're gonna do the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, on average, the prices are gonna be about $75 to $200, depending on the makeover you get. Those are the same prices they would be in the park, and availability is easier there than it would be, say, at Magic Kingdom. Keep in mind, this is not just a girl experience, they do prince makeovers as well. So if you're an adult and you're wanting a makeover, there is an option also at a few of the resorts where you can get a makeover to your favorite character. Character Couture. Character Couture is about $50 to $120 depending on the type of makeover you want. If you're wanting your hair done and makeup, it would be more on the expensive side. A lot of people do this option right before the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. Or if you're just wanting to match your son and daughter and maybe take some photographs later, this would be really cool to do, especially if you're the villain and they're the princess, etc. So if you're wanting to do an adult makeover, those are located at the Grand Floridian, Wilderness Lodge, Coronado Springs, and the Yacht and Beach Club. So now we're all done up. We all relaxed because of massages. Let's talk about tea parties that we can go to. So I do have a previous video where I spent a lot of time on the pirate cruises and the pirate activities, so I didn't really touch base on those here. So I'm going to spend more time on the tea party options. Just keep in mind, as if this video is filmed, that the Pirates League, which is the pirate makeover, will be ending this July 2020, so that will no longer be an option. But again, you can get a prince makeover at the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, so that is still an option. I would assume that would be if you had younger boys in the family. All right, we've got two options as far as tea parties. So if you wanted to make a whole day of it where you did a makeover in the morning and then wanted to do tea afterwards, this is convenient because they are located in the same resort at the Grand Floridian. There are two tea parties at the Grand Floridian. One, which is a more downscale option and features the Alice in Wonderland characters, is called Wonderland Tea, and it's located at 1900 Park Fair. This is from Monday through Friday, 2 to 3 p.m. Ages 4 to 12 can participate, and it costs $50. Pretty cool option, something different. Again, not really known as far as something that gets booked often. I have maybe booked this one time with a bunch of people. Everyone wants to spend time in parks, that these things get overlooked. Now I have booked a few of the next one, which is the Perfectly Princess Tea Party. That is at the Grand Floridian as well, but in the tea room. This is normally in the mornings, and it is a little more upscale because of cost. So if you are from 3 to 9 and you're gonna have one adult with you that is 10 or over, so that could be a child technically, a 10-year-old child that wanted to go with their younger sibling, that cost would be $333.64. The reason it's so high is because you have an elegant tea, but here are the things you get to take home with you. You're gonna receive an 18-inch Aurora doll, a tiara, a bracelet, necklace, a rose, stickers, and then a bag to take it all in. That's pretty nice, and especially if you're dressed up and you did the boutique right before that, that'd be a really cool experience for your princess. But what about if you have boys? There's an option as well. So it would be more Prince Philip, and they get some swag as well. So they get a sword and shield, a plush, a Disney plush of some sort, and then they do get a pin, like the Disney pins. So if you have two children and one is above 10 and they want to get the swag as well, because the swag only goes to the younger child, you can pay an additional $136.22 to get that stuff instead of paying double the $333. Is that really complicated? I think I did make it complicated. Let me know if you have any questions about that below. But basically, Disney's not trying to like double charge you. But at the same time, if the older sibling wants to go and doesn't want the stuff, then you don't have to pay the extra. All right, my next two options are going to be in the sports world. So golf. There are 3 golf courses on Disney property, and it's pretty cool some of the options they have. They do various tee times, obviously, throughout the day. But if you do the sunrise or sunset, they seem to be a little more affordable. They're all championship courses, so there are 18 holes, and they do have golf cart rental available. If you tell your Disney resort you're going to one of the golf courses on property, they will actually take care of your transportation for you. You'll probably get a voucher of some sort. You can book your golf times online. There is a specific site just for Walt Disney World golf courses, so check those out. From what I saw, if you did an entire 18 hole, it was about $75 for a peak time. But if you did the sunrise or the sunset, it seemed to be about half that price. If actual golf is not your thing, then consider putt-putt. There are 2 putt-putt courses at Disney, Fantasia Gardens and Winter Summerland. So the Fantasia Gardens obviously is themed to the movie Fantasia, and the Winter Summerland is a winter resort that is melting. The cool thing about this is that if you book a Walt Disney World package, you get the magical extra card that comes in with your package. Let me see if I have one. I don't have one here, but if you open your Magic Band box, they would be in a little slip, probably just like this on the side where your magic bands are. So you actually get a round of putt-putt golf included with your Walt Disney World package. It just has to be used before 4 p.m. So you get 4 of those. So if you have 4 people, that's obviously 1 round of 18 holes per person. But if you have 2 people, say we have 2 adults that are going, you can go twice, but you can't go twice in the same day. So you wouldn't be able to go to Fantasia Gardens and then hop over to Winter Summerland. You'd have to wait and use that additional one the next day or a few days later. So that's pretty cool. It's free and included with that. But if you're not staying on property but are close, or maybe you didn't book a package and you booked a room only, then you can just pay out of pocket by going to the putt-putt. They're located really close to the Swan and Dolphin resorts. Speaking of golf also, and the extras, if you book the water park and sports option ticket with your Walt Disney World package, you actually will get 9 holes of golf included with your other options. It used to be called Water Park and More option, but now that they have the NBA experience, they've changed it to sports. So if I have 5-day water park and sports option tickets, that means I have 5 days in the park and then 5 sports options, and I can do at any point or any sequence I want. So I could do after each park day, we spend the evenings at one of the sports options. You can do them both on the same day. Or you can alternate them and you're staying a week and you have 5 days of tickets, and then on your off days, you're going to be using the sports options. So with that, you get 9-hole walking courses, so not the golf cart included. You only pay the green fees, so everything else would be included. And they have a few options. You can play actual golf, 9-hole, or they have foot golf, which is soccer, kicking into the holes. That's pretty neat. And then putt-putt, like I had mentioned earlier, is also included in that option if you wanted more than just what the vouchers provide. Okay, also in the sports area, we're going to talk about watercraft rental. Again, a lot of unknowns about this. You don't see a ton of this out there for people that vlog and do a lot of things. I think I've seen Tim Tracker do this one time, but it's just something that not a lot of people know about, and I tend to not book often for clients. Most of my repeat clients just know exactly what they're going to do, and then I have lots of first-time clients that only would do parks. So it's very rare that a lot of these extras I book, with the exception of maybe a handful. So I seem to think that's because not a lot of people know about them. So I'm hoping this will encourage you to do more research and ask questions and hopefully get some ideas. Okay, so you can actually rent 3 different boat options, well, watercraft, at Disney resorts. So they have a Sea Ray, like a Sea Ray racer, and I grew up on a lake and my husband grew up on a different lake, and so we know about the cost of watercraft rental. We tend to, in the summertime, do this and feel like these Disney prices are pretty comparable to just a lake in Missouri. So it's $32 per half hour to do the sea racers. And so if you think about the Disney property, you can do that in the Seven Seas Lagoon in front of Magic Kingdom. That's pretty cool to be riding a little wave runner jet ski out there in front of the castle. And you can do it over in the Epcot area. They have some marinas over there. So even if they're not totally fast, it's kind of cool to be able to go on that water for $32 per half hour. And each racer holds 2 people. So that's not 32 per person, that's 32 total with 2 people on a racer. So even if you did an hour, that's $64 of fun. So if you have some more people, they do have a Montauk boat, which holds 6, and that is $45 an hour. And then they have a pontoon, which can hold 10 for $45 an hour. So if you have a large family and want to go out on the water near Magic Kingdom, it's pretty reasonable expense to spend for an afternoon. Okay, and the cool thing is reservations are not required for these. It's just first come, first serve. So if you wake up and you're like, let's go on a boat, just go do it. Here are the marinas that are on Disney property. They have one at the Contemporary Bay Lake area. Beach Club has one. Fort Wilderness, Grand Floridian, the Poly, Wilderness Lodge, and Yacht Club. So again, the two main sources of water. So the Seven Seas Lagoon and then over in the Epcot area. Things to keep in mind is there are ferries traveling often on that water, so you would have to stay away from that. There is a deposit involved. We've looked into this, doing this before, and weight limits on the boats. So just some things you'll need to consider when planning that. And lastly, if you're not into the actual speed kind of water equipment, then there are canoes and kayaks available for rent at Fort Wilderness if you just kind of want to take it lackadaisical and enjoy your afternoon getting some sun by canoeing through the Fort Wilderness area. There's so much more to offer at Walt Disney World, but I just wanted to do a little tidbit here of different types of categories to maybe get your minds going on some extra things that you can do. Always remember there are shows at other resorts. There's a movie theater, bowling alley, things like that. But I just wanted to touch base on things outside of the Disney Springs area. If you have any questions about any of these, let me know. Again, things are changing always, including prices. For instance, Watercraft, they used to have like larger boats and speedboats available, but they've closed that marina over at the Contemporary. So again, things may change, but at this point, these are all up to date. I'm double checked and made sure the prices were good and everything. Stay tuned because I'm going to kind of segue from your non-park day to doing a video on how to designate what day to do what. So that will be my next video. Thanks for sticking around. I hope you're all staying safe. I look forward to seeing you guys in a few days, hopefully with another video. Have a magical day. Bye.